spins a web any size, catches thieves just like flies. Look out, here comes the Spider-Man.
Hello everyone, thanks so much for joining me here today as we get to talk about one of my favorite subjects, comic books. My name is Jose. I love comic books. I love talking about them. I love sharing them with you. You can follow me on social media. On the description below I have the links. I also have links to this story if you want to know more about it. So we're going to be looking at two issues today. We're going to be looking at Peter Parker, the Spectacular Spider-Man 27 and 28 from 1978. Why are we looking at these two particular issues? Well, Frank Miller drew them. Now, he does not do the cover. The cover is done by Dave Cockrum, which you would probably know from the X-Men, but it's a very solid cover. And it's a very early Frank Miller. You can see here as guest penciler. He's providing the pencils. This is the second parter, okay? So we're going to look at parts 2 and 3. I did not do part 1. It doesn't matter. We're here just to look at the Frank Miller portion of it. So Spider-Man is blind, and Daredevil, who was a guest star in the previous issue, is trying to help him overcome the blindness here. This is before Frank Miller took over as writer-artist in Daredevil, so this is probably his first drawing of Daredevil. So Frank Miller was developing his skills, but even back then, look at this, the wide panels that he composes all the time. Here they are. So really good with the wide panels. So Spider-Man, of course, is upset. He can't see. Daredevil is trying to help him. Spider-Man doesn't want help, but he's, like I said, he's blind. He was blinded by, in the previous issue, by the main villain of that. His name will come up. So Spider-Man is falling, and Daredevil is gonna catch him. So like I said, this is very early Frank Miller. So I think it's called the Mass Marauder, if I remember correctly. I don't know how many appearances this guy has, but Spider-Man's lashing out. He doesn't want help, but Daredevil's like, you know, maybe there's a cure. Let's just Spider-Man thinks he's done, and I wish they wouldn't have said the Amazing Spider-Man. I wish they would have said the Spectacular Spider-Man. I think that would have been an ode to this book. So Spider-Man, like I said, he's lashing out because he can't see. He doesn't know Daredevil is blind, so Daredevil is gonna make a call to a Dr. Orlock, who helped him when he was gone blind. So we're kind of gonna go through his origin quickly here about his senses and all that. So we do that there. So Daredevil called him and says that he has a patient. I love this, a doctor smoking. It is the 70s. So here we have a brief with Mary Jane and a friend. I think it's could be Betty Brant. I am not too sure, but they're having a talk, but right now we're not really gonna concern ourselves with it. So we're just gonna kind of go through what we're trying to do is just look at Frank Miller's art with a little bit as to what's going on. So they're gonna go to this Dr. Orlock's apartment here, or not apartment, his clinic, and he's like, they should have been here by now, and his nurse is like, oh, they're here because they're behind him. So he's gonna take a look at his eyes to see how he has and it says that that it's temporary blindness, and the fibers in the optic, they seem to be whole and recuperating. So but he needs to rest. but he can't because he's upset because the that mass marauder who blinded him is still out there, and he needs to um, find them. Also, his ankle is hurt, so again, he's just lashing out, and so um, Spider-Man still wants to find him. Um, I love, this kind of inkers really are good on Frank Miller here. So, um, he's like I said, he's super frustrated, and so he almost falls off the cliff. Love how they used to just do the web back in the day. So this is the Mass Marauder, who's a member of the Magia. Um, Look it up in the description below. Like I said, I posted a link to the story using the Marvel Wiki, so you can look up who these characters were and a little bit as to what the story was going on. Like the part that I missed, like for example, Betty and Mary Jane both have feelings for Peter, is kind of what they were talking about. So all that is in the description beneath for both stories. So Daredevil's going to help him find him, and he's going to use his radar sense to see if he can. I believe Spider-Man put the tracker on him. I think Daredevil's using his radar sense. So, and let's see here. So the Mass Marauder is calling the mayor of New York here. So he introduces this called the Tri-Man. He's like a human transformer, I guess, or like I don't know, a robot of some kind. But he can turn into a nuclear warhead armed with a plutonium. So this goes all the way to 24. Like I said, none of those issues are covered, so feel free to look in the description below. But he's basically telling him, he's gonna destroy New York if he doesn't get what he wants. But Daredevil comes in to try and stop him. They tackle him down. You see this so much with when Frank Miller's does this Daredevil. So the Tri-Man's gonna take off and is gonna push Peter through. And remember, he's blind. So all right, so we're gonna go straight to number 28, and this is a cover by Keith Pollard. So Frank Miller did not do either cover. Like I said, in the description below, I got some links to the Marvel wiki and linking the actual stories, so you can actually take a look. So Bill, like same creative team, Bill Mantlo. By the way, if you don't know much about Bill Mantlo, he was involved in a hit and run. You can search him on Wikipedia. They've never caught his guy, but unfortunately, he was severely injured in that hit and run. So very tragic. And I think his brother has a GoFundMe. He is still alive, I believe. So Bill Mantlo did a lot of stuff during the 70s and early 80s. So he was able to use his spider sense and hearing to make sure he landed on top of him, or the web. So, and he's going to aim it himself into the fight to go help Daredevil. So meanwhile, in the on the TV, the mayor can see the fight that's going on. So Frank Miller does this a lot. This is such a trope of his. instead of drawing all these different panels, just one big panel with all these different things. So even then, his composition, this is, like I said, his very early work, and that composition of his, absolutely amazing. So um, he is very, very, very good. Um, it's unbelievable that he becomes such a superstar. So he's going to try and blind Daredevil because he doesn't know that Daredevil's already blind. So, meanwhile, Spider-Man's going to try to stop this nuclear warhead because it's always a nuclear warhead. He sees that it's ticking, so he knows that it's a bomb. He doesn't know it's a hydrogen bomb. That's what an H bomb is, if you don't know. So, and so Daredevil throws his billy club at the Marauder and hits him and unmasks him, and he is going to he hits him momentarily. He's gonna um, send a signal to blow it, but real quick before I turn the page, again with the vertical panels, that's Todd McFarlane does a lot of these vertical panels. I don't know whether he got it from Frank Miller or not, but it's very interesting to see vertical panels because most people do horizontal or straight. You just don't see very many people compose with vertical panels. I think that in itself takes another layer of skill. And there's another Frank Miller Spider-Man that we are going to eventually look at that is a lot of vertical panels. Spider-Man's going to try and destroy this bomb. And remember, nuclear weapons only blow up when they're supposed to, so you can actually destroy the warhead without making the bomb blow up. So when he goes to press the button, nothing happened. And it's funny because that would have destroyed him too, because if he would have been in the blast zone. So Daredevil then defeats him, and here comes Spider-Man. So he's still hanging on, and he slows down and he jumps off. So I don't think that his sight has quite returned, but they tell him to freeze, and Daredevil helps him, and he tells him that that the Magia was the one that was responsible, and tells Spider-Man that it's over and offers his hand. And suddenly then he can start seeing again. So they're saying that the Daily Bugle is the one that says that he's the murderer. So but they decide not to do anything. So we go back into the apartment. If you remember, I kind of had glanced over and just told you a little bit of just kind of pass it on because we're not going to be looking at this all of this. So we were just concentrating on the story. That's kind of why I just you know, kind of just moving through. So the police are in the apartment from the stuff from last issue, and Spider-Man's coming in and he sees everybody, so he grabs his clothes and changes into Peter and comes in, and you know, they're kind of asking questions and stuff. So we're just gonna kind of move it along because again, we're not concerned with any of this. Feel free to go into the description below, like I said, and you're more than welcome to kind of find out. We're just doing these two stories here in particular because they're done by Frank Miller. Frank Miller does not do the entire thing, so we're, like I said, we're just looking at these two here. So, and this person here is called Carry On. So there we go. So you got to see Frank Miller sort of drawing Daredevil for the first time. So here we go. So Spectacular Spider-Man's 27 and 28. Like and subscribe, and thanks for listening. Bye.